Sorry, I had the sneeze. But now I also can't really get it out because it's stuck over on this side. You can see it's not really holding anything. So I fucked up here. Alright, it is Monday. I realized that this is not part of last week's video because of how I split the videos up basically at the end of each Sunday. So the other one just kind of ends abruptly, I guess, at the end of Saturday. But yesterday it was raining all day and I was super tired from finishing the ceiling stuff. So I'd end up doing nothing as far as van stuff. I'm still waiting on that sealant stuff. I think it's supposed to come in tomorrow, but I'm not off tomorrow. I'm off today for the holiday, so it doesn't do me a lot of good right now. So I'm going to go ahead and with these leftover pieces from the ceiling, start working on getting the last bits of the wall covered up. Figure out how I'm going to do that. Yeah, and then whenever I do get that sealant in, I can finish that stuff up there and do the painting. And then as long as I have those wall bits covered up, like, you know, like this area and stuff, and this is all painted, I can go ahead and work on the cabinets up top. But I can't do the cabinets until I have all this stuff covered already and have this all taken care of on the ceiling. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and start organizing stuff in here and get ready to start working on the walls. Okay, so I figure I'll start over here. I can't get the wood to go down below here. You can see it's pretty tight fit most of the way down there, so I'm not going to worry about that area in here. So I'm going to work on going up here and then, you know, just continuing up, working my way around, you know, these weird things and that. And then I will also end up having to do this side over here as well to make sure that the insulation doesn't pop out of these little holes either. And then I'm also going to do the same thing over on that side. Same thing, you can't fit anything in there, so I'll just work my way up, go around all that stuff, and then also work my way up this edge here. And we'll see how far I can get with the amount of wood that I have, and if I'll have to run up to the Lowe's to pick up more wood today or not. So yeah. Okay, so that first piece is all in there. As you can see, I'll try to pop this out here. And so you can see it's cut pretty weird to fit around this piece of plastic and that wire. And then also is kind of angled because it's wider here than it is up here. But fits. So I'm going to go ahead and mark out where I can actually put screws in this. And I'm going to be using just these little 1/2-inch ones. They're the same, you know, number 8 size as the other ones I've been using for basically everything. But I figure I'll use these ones that are a little bit shorter because all they need to go through is this thin little piece and then go into the metal, and then that's it. So I figure this should be fine, and yeah, so that's my game plan. Alright, so the first 2 pieces are in here. So this one goes up and then is blocked by this thing. This one goes around that. I didn't put anything here, just because that's what I did. I don't know. I figured there's going to be a couple gaps like that, like up here. I'll probably start the next piece, I don't know, not all the way down here, but somewhere to work around all this junk. But luckily now, basically I just go up. There's not a lot blocking until I get to the very top. And even then, that's off to the side, and that's going to be, you know, above where I'm putting the wood. So it should be slightly easier. Yeah, that's what we're working with. So I'm just going to keep on putting those pieces around here. Okay, so this whole section here is done. So I'm going to go ahead and this maybe I'll do up there, but there's not a whole lot to cover going along that edge because that black stuff is in the way. I would like to try to get something back behind here, but that's going to be kind of a pain unless I take this back down. So I might actually just go ahead and start doing this side going up So that way both of those are taken care of. And then I'll start working on what little bits I need to do up here. And then I'll work on like that inside part going up and around. Okay, so I got the first one on this side, and this next one, or next two, or however it ends up working out, is going to be a pain, because the insulation I want to cover on this area is really only here on this portion. Sorry, I had to sneeze. So the insulation is really only here, but it's being partially blocked by this stupid thing. So I'm probably going to have to do a piece that goes from here up to like here, and that will hopefully cover it, this part of it, and then have another piece that goes from, from here behind this wire down to however far I can get it to cover up that part of the insulation. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so that side is all done there. So I'm going to go ahead and work on getting this stuff covered up, because there's insulation there, and whatever I can try to do up here. I don't know how much I'm really going to be able to fill in here. I might just not even bother and just do the corner over here, and same thing over here. I would also like to get something back here where that gap is. I don't know if you can really see it there, but where that insulation is. But I don't know how well that's going to work out with all this junk being in the way. So yeah, I'm going to do those two pieces there and then do the next bit. Alright, so there is that one and that one. Alright, they're both in there. I'm not going to really bother with anything else over here. I might actually grab the wrench set out, whatever the hell it's called, and take this down and take a look at what the other side looks like, how it would easy or difficult would be to do something about that hole that's back there. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then either I'll put one up there or I won't, and then I'll start working on the inner sides part of that. Okay, I don't remember last time I filmed update thing, but I took this back down, and I'm working on getting this in there covered up, because this is, even with this kind of somewhat blocking it, it's not really like up against it, and there's a lot of insulation just chilling right here, so I don't want it to, piece by piece come out of there or anything. Have to worry about why am I so itchy all the time because of wool insulation. So I cut that, obviously went around that little wire there, and I've been just trimming off this side, because when this piece goes up there, the edge has been getting caught on here, and so it hasn't been able to get flat up against there. This side's been good, wherever the hell that spot is over here, up there. So that one's been good. Just working on this one. I trimmed it down, so I think it should be good now. Something just fell down there. I don't know if that was insulation. What the hell just fell down there? Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and put these screws back in, and whenever I do get this to fit properly, I'm going to have to put some of that wood putty there, although it's not really going to be visible, and then I'll get this back up there. Okay, so that's all back up there. You can barely even tell there's wood back there. You can see just the edges there. So that's blocking up all that insulation there. So that is done. So next project is going up these sides. I might take a quick lunch break. I don't know, maybe I'll get this started. I'll figure out what I'm going to do. But the next thing I'm doing is this stuff. Alright, it is Thursday night. I'm going to try to get some of the sealant done. This finally came in, so I'm going to try to get some of that done on the ceiling. So that way it can all dry up and everything. And then this weekend I can work on some painting since the sealant will be done on it, hopefully. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cut open here and get it going. And yeah, just going to fill in all the little gaps that I have going on here. That one is kind of sticking down there. It's weird. Alright, so I will show you after I do some sealant stuff. Okay, so I got some of it done here. You can see going like halfway down there. Same thing over there. And then I got this line going across here. As usual, when I use sealant, it is a mess everywhere. All over me and all over the place. Luckily, pretty much anything that's a mess is going to end up being either painted over or covered up. So, not super worried about it as long as it doesn't get like all over the floor or anything like that. So I am just going to continue going on down here. So I'm going to work on, I guess, that line there, and then just keep going on down, sealing up all the cracks in between all the different pieces there. Okay, so that's basically everything. I was initially covering every single kind of like seam in the ceiling or whatever the hell you want to call it. But then eventually I kind of switched to just doing spots that actually had like gaps in it. Because one, it was just taking forever, and two, I was just using a ton of this. I don't know how much I have left of this, but I really burned through a lot of it between how much I covered and how much mess I just made all over my hands and the walls and everything. So yeah, I'm just gonna let it try and hope that when I come out here tomorrow there's not white sealant stuff just all over the floor. And then, like I said, some of the spots like in the back there along that edge, I am going to end up needing to get small pieces of wood and do it, because the sealant is just too big of a gap for the sealant. It just keeps dropping out. So I'm going to need to actually put like some wood up there, probably glue it. But once I get all that taken care of, it'll be good to go for doing the painting up there. It is Saturday morning, so this is all looking good up here from what I can see. So today I'm going to be, like I said, patching up those back areas with whatever little pieces of wood I can get to fit up there. Working on the whitewash painting stuff up here. I also am going to end up taking the boards that are like for like the tables outside, and I think I'm going to do some staining on those today. I'm still waiting on the like the leg pieces for those. I ordered those quite a while ago, and I just emailed the company yesterday saying like, hey, like I haven't even gotten an email saying it's been shipped, and you said you're supposed to send me an email like 7 to 10 days after I do the order, letting me know that it's been shipped and it's on its way. So they haven't gotten back to me, so I don't know, I might end up having to cancel that purchase and purchase it from somewhere else for more money. But yeah, so I'm going to be working on all that painting, staining, and then just basically taking more of this wood and just continuing around the edges over there, the edges all over here, all that fun stuff. So I think the first thing I want to do is work on those gaps up there, so that way I can get those in, and if I have to use like glue or something, it can have time to dry before I start working on actually painting. And also if I need to throw any extra sealant up there, I can do that then. Okay, so I also need to fill in the gaps by the windows on each side as well. I just remembered those while I was opening up the windows. So I'm going to also find some wood to fill that in. Okay, so what I decided to do for that gap up there, I cut this piece down to basically right size, but I couldn't trim the one edge because it got so small, so I can't get it to actually fit up into where that gap is. So instead I just used a hammer and screwdriver and split apart the different pieces of the plywood. So now I have this flat, mostly flat piece that I can just stick right up there, and that way it's not hanging way down like when it was, you know, thicker. Now it's just this thin little piece that I'll just glue up there, and I'll keep all the insulation right in there. Okay, so I got both windows are now filled in, just letting that glue dry. And now this one I'm trying to get to fit up into this gap, because as you can see, that sealant didn't do anything there. So I did add a little bit more sealant like over here in one spot that had some gaps, and then added some more over here. But now I need to fill in that big square and this awkward shape here, so I've been just little by little trimming this down, trying to get it to fit in that weird spot. Okay, so I got it cut to what it seems like it's pretty good to fit in here. This part got in past this bolt, and now I can't get this to go any further. I'm not sure if it's stuck on this edge right here, if there's something behind it. But now I also can't really get it out because it's stuck over on this side. So I think I'm just going to try to just shove this up there the best I can, and then throw some glue on it and hope that it stays in place. So yeah. Okay, so both of these spots are filled in here and drying. So I'm going to just let that do what it has to do, along with all the sealant that I added. I'm going to end up having to add probably like a little bit more right there in that corner you see. Probably a little bit over there, and then a little bit along this edge here. But I want that glue to dry before I start messing around with any of that wood. Also added some sealant out here in random spots that I noticed had some gaps. So I'm not going to work on the painting yet, because I want all that to obviously be dry before I start messing with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and start messing around with the wood that goes around everything there, whatever it's called. Alright, so this first piece is in here. I basically just measured the width being about 4 inches and just cut one of the spare boards I had that was already partially cut up, just cut the whole length of it, because along here there's not really a lot blocking anything. I mean, I have to somewhat work around this a little bit, but there's not, you know, annoying plugs or bolts sticking out or anything. So yeah, so I'm just gonna do the same for the next piece. I'll just have to do a little bit of a cut around where these spots are, and then eventually as I get higher there's gonna be, you know, that curve going on as it gets thinner. But yeah, so that first piece is in there. Pretty easy. These ones down here, I kind of drilled through the initial piece of metal and then I hit something harder. So I just stopped because these screws are pretty tiny and they went in just fine. So I don't know what's behind that metal, but there's something more than just, you know, the insulation I was stuffing in there. So yeah, but it is all good to go there. So I'm going to work on the next piece and just keep going on up here. Okay, so that second piece is now in there as well. I had to make those, you know, little notches kind of going around the handle thing here, and had to start working on some of that curve. So I'm just going to keep going up here. So just like down there, I'm not going to try to get it to go around that curving part, because that would be way too complicated for me. I don't know how the hell to do that. So I'm just going to go up here and then basically just stop somewhere around here before it starts doing this, because that would be a disaster if I attempt to do that. And then I'll just pick it back up again, you know, somewhere over here, and continue over to dealing with all this junk. Alright, so this whole section here looks like it's done, because here we hit that curve, so I'm not going to do anything with that. So I'm going to hop over on the other side now and start working on that. Once I get to that same, you know, point there, I'll end up going across. There's some loom tripping down here from the piece I put up there. So those pieces are still up there, drying. It is hot as shit today, and it's only going to get hotter. I don't know what temperature is right now, but it's supposed to get up into the 90s today, and I think tomorrow too, and it's humid. So fun, but so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting more wood to put up there. Alright, so this is where we're at on this side. I've been using smaller pieces just because I'm using up the that kind of like leftover wood, so that's just the only reason why. I'm just continuing on up here, so I'm getting now into this weird curvy zone, and then I'll end up hitting this spot. I'll be done there, and time to go across the top. Alright, so that area is all done there. I think I'm going to do some touch-ups on wherever I need to put sealant stuff, and then I will start working on this underside part, and then hopefully I'll be done with the sealant, it'll be dry, and I can start working on doing the whitewash up here. Okay, so I just want to show you this side. I don't remember if I'm filming this or not, but that one's up there. So this one, there is a opening here where the insulation is, so I wanted to make sure I covered that up. There's obviously got all this weird stuff here, but this plywood, whatever the hell size it is, seems to fit under there. I'm gonna find out for sure once I get this up there. But so I ended up having to do is have that shape, so this butts up against that plastic thingy there, and then that way it can get under there and actually cover that up, so no insulation will come out. Once I get this all screwed in, I'll of course do a check to make sure that the door opens and closes just fine. I don't see why it would be affected, because there is, it's hard to film it here, but there is a decent gap between that metal that is connected to the door and, you know, goes in and out, and the piece of wood that's there. Alright, so I'm going to get some screws in this and then see how it works. Okay, I can't believe I did this. So this is where that hole is that I've been trying to cover up by having this wood out here. And where did I drill to put the screw in? Right where that hole is. So I managed to get the screw in right, where's my finger? There. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of that wood putty stuff in there, cover that up. And then I still have to put in a couple more screws on this thing, and that piece will be good then. And then I just want to get one in the center here because I need to cover up these 2 holes. And that is all of them. You can see there's no more holes over there, there. So I'll cover up everything along this whole back area as far as, you know, where the holes are for the insulation. Okay, so that whole top section there is done. My shoulders are so beat right now. I could like barely hold the drill steady to get that last screw in there. I'm so glad I'm done with that for right now. I think I'm going to go around and check the sealant again. I see there's still a little bit of gaps in some of the spots. That corner's been a pain in the ass, so I'm going to work on that. And then just check out any other spots that need some work. And just let that stuff dry up. I'm not looking forward to trying to paint the ceiling after doing all that drilling, going straight up like that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and work on that sealant and then figure out what the hell I'm doing next. So what I am gonna do, since I still have caulk stuff drying on the ceiling, I took out all 4 of the pieces for like the backs of the couches, seats, whatever, slash table, slash bed. I'm gonna go ahead and do the stain, that like brown stain in all of them, and that way I can let them dry. Once they're dry, I can flip all of them, stain the other side, and it'll all be done. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and grab the stain and get that going. Alright, so you can see that first one there compared to the rest. I think that's looking pretty awesome so far. I'm gonna try to get around the edges, and then that one will be done for that side until it's ready to flip it. And then I'll just keep going on that line here. Alright, so those are all done on that side. So I'm just gonna let them hang out and dry. Probably actually shouldn't take that long because it's pretty thin coat on there once I wipe it off with the paper towel. In the meantime, I'm gonna run to Lowe's and pick up some more screws and those hook things for underneath the little cabinet-y things to keep it open. I'm gonna see if they have any sealant there. I don't think they do. I'm pretty sure I checked that before, and that's why I always order it online, but I'm gonna check to see if they have that same kind of stuff there. And yeah, so then I will be back, and hopefully be good time to then flip it over and finish these up. And maybe by then I can also start working on the sealing them with the paint. Back from Lowe's, so this is what I picked up. These are size number 10, so they're like a little bit smaller than the screws that I typically use, which are size 8, which of course still makes no sense to me why the sizes numbers get bigger as the things get smaller. And then the measurement was kind of a pain in the ass because they measure from the tip to here, but I don't really care about that. I want to know how big the actual screw part is to make sure it's not going to go through the wood. So what I did in the store, I basically just held up while it was in the package. This compared to these, the 1/2 inch, because I can't remember how thick this was. I think it's supposed to be 1 inch, but it's actually 3/4 of an inch. But yeah, so basically just holding it up here, that looks like it should be totally fine. So what I'm gonna do, I don't want to I was thinking about before about putting something on the outside here, and then that way it would lift up and hook onto that hook. The nice thing about that would be that you would have something hanging off here, whatever kind of material that you'll be using this basically hook together, those two things. So it would be, you could pick it up and lift the whole thing. The issue with that is I put something here, when I tried to put those other pieces down to make it into a bed, it would have an issue. I would end up having to cut around those boards, a little divot right here, and same thing on the other side. So instead what I'm going to do, I am going to go ahead and hook this basically on the underside somewhere here, wherever it's not going to be hitting this 4x4. So yeah, so that's the game plan. I just have to figure out how I'm going to know where this 4x4 ends, and that's where I can hook it onto. And then I have these smaller bungees, and the idea is that because this is closed and these little metal things are pretty thin, I could basically just crimp that down and it'll be stuck on there, and then when I lift it up, this will already be all connected, and I just have to connect the other end to that, and hopefully these aren't too long and they actually work out. Okay, so what I decided to do, I had this closed. I marked off that line there is where the wood from the seat part hits, and then I measured from that edge there to that line. It was under 3 inches, so I just went and made a 3-inch mark down here. So now I'm going to go ahead and just put that. I'm going to drill a little hole and put the hook thing somewhere along here, and then we will test out. I have a feeling that bungee is going to be too long, so I'm going to have to figure something out. Either I don't think they sell smaller ones than those 10-inch ones, so maybe I will go ahead and hook both ends to that hook, and then just pull out the middle part and hook it up there. I'll see how that works. Okay, so another update on this hook thing. So this is what it's like if I have the hook just going hook to hook basically. So it only kind of starts the catch there, and then just there it is. If I kind of slowly let it down, you can see it's not really holding anything because it's got too much, and it doesn't really start to hold it in place until it gets all the way there. So I'm going to go ahead and do it the other way, where both hooks are on the same spot here. I'm hooking up, just the bungee part itself up to that hook and see how it works. Okay, so there it is. So that's what I was talking about, where trying to explain both hooks being on there, and that works really well from what I'm seeing. It's only been a couple seconds, but nothing has collapsed. The hook there hasn't ripped out of the wall. So what I want to do is end up clipping, or not clipping, kind of crimping those hooks so they end up staying on there. So they don't, when I close this, they don't just fall off, and every time I have to dig down here with the batteries and everything looking for where the bungee went. So they'll be stuck on there, and then I can just lift it up, grab that little bungee, boom, pop it on there, and voila, everything's open. Should make it a lot easier to get in and out for my tools and stuff here, rather than having to hold it with one hand the whole time and dig around with the other one. Just holding it by itself there. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and figure out where some pliers or something are to get those done, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing over for this one here. Alright, so here are some opens. As you can see, those are both hooked on there still because they are all closed up, or at least closed up enough to, this is still kind of hard to do with one hand. There we go. Alright, and just like that. So you can see, I just pinched them closed enough to where they're not going to get around that big hook there. I didn't worry about making them 100% closed because they just don't need to be. So all I used was just regular pliers. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just do the exact same thing. Measure, put the line on there, put the hook in, and all that fun stuff on the other side. Should be pretty simple process because this one was easy enough and it was my first time doing it. Alright, and just like that, they are both done. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take those down for now, and then I'm gonna go out and check on that stain that I have going on those other pieces. Hopefully get those flipped over and get that taken care of. And it's still ridiculously hot today. Alright, so these were all looking good. I didn't notice anything wet, so I went ahead and flipped them. So I'm gonna go ahead and do these last sides, as well as the edges that I didn't get before. So like this one was facing inwards before, so I flipped out so I can do that one. Yeah, and then that's gonna be it. Just letting them dry, and once they're good to go, I'll whip them back into the van. And yeah, let me go ahead and just get this done. Okay, so here we are with the white paint. The game plan here is going to be putting a small amount of paint up there, and then immediately wipe it with the paper towel, so that way there's no dripping, there's no paint coming down. I mean, I will have this right here, but still it could end up smacking it wherever. So that's the game plan. And while I'm at it, I'm also going to go ahead and do all this stuff here as well, since it's all up there and done. So I have the paint out, might as well do it as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just got the paintbrush and the paper towels and the paint, and I'm going to go ahead and do it, just like I did the wall before. Okay, so I started out doing all this stuff, so I got both sides going along there, probably kind of hard to tell because everything's kind of shaded in here now, and there's not anything really to compare to too easily. But now I'm going to go ahead and work my way up on this side, get that piece there, and then that'll all be done. I figure this stuff is probably a little bit easier to do than having my hands completely just raised up, painting everything after messing around with the screws on it all day. So I'll just save this for the end and just go until I'm either done or just exhausted. And then that way, once I'm done with the ceiling, it'll just be done, and I'll just quit for the day because it's already kind of late. All right, so everything over here along this back door area is good to go with whitewash. So I'm gonna go ahead and get working on this fun ceiling now. All right, so probably hard to tell, but this whole section here is done with the whitewash. So now I'm gonna go on to the next section here. So I fucked up here. So one drop of paint fell, and then I just stupidly took the paper towel that I was using to spread the paint and wiped it and made it even worse. And I can't find any of the acetone stuff that helps get rid of paint. So I think once I get done painting entirely the ceiling, I'll do a real quick little thing of stain over that, and hopefully everything just kind of blends in and doesn't look like shit. Okay, so the next section is done there. So these two large sections, and now I gotta do the front pieces. Okay, so ceiling is done. I think I'm just gonna leave that for tonight. I've been out here for I think like 11 hours now or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and just call it quits and work on getting everything cleaned up. And I don't know how much work I'm gonna get done tomorrow because I have some stuff going on, but we will see.